All right, shalom, shalom, Israel. Right, we at it again. Right, with another class. Hey, you got to mute because it's coming. All right, we at it again with another class. Right, it's probably gonna be a two-part series. This one's entitled "Acts of a Good Soldier of Yahawashi." Right. Uh, so let's open it up with the opening precept, Colossians 3:17.
God, this is the book of Colossians, chapter 3, and verse number 17. It reads, "And whatsoever ye do, in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahawashi, giving thanks to God and the Father by him."
So everything we do in word or deed, we do all in the name of the Lord Yahweh Shai, giving thanks to the Most High God. That's why we say, call law Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Wamalak Yahweh Shai. Right, let me get Ephesians 4 and 11.
God, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, and verse number 11. "And he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and teachers for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach."
Right, so everything that we do, right, is to magnify the name of the Lord, and we do that through the edifying and perfecting of the body of Yahweh Shai, also known as the saints, which is the Israelites, man, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans chiefly, but we know that we spread out across the four corners of the earth, man, right? So let's kick it off. Acts of a Good Soldier of Yahweh Shai. Let's kick it off with 1 Timothy chapter 2, right, in verse 3.
Khan, this is the book of First Timothy, chapter 2, and verse number 3. And it reads, "For this is good and acceptable in the sight of God, our Savior, who will have all men to be saved and to come unto the knowledge of the truth." Verse 5, "For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Hamashiach Yahawashi,
Right, we know.
who gave himself a ransom for all to be testified in due time. Wherefore I am ordained a preacher and an apostle. I speak the truth in the Mashiach and lie not, a
Right.
teacher."
So we were ordained a preacher and a teacher, right, of Yahweh Shai, just like Paul was, right, through his blood, right. But what did Paul tell Timothy in the second chapter? Let's go Second Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3.
2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse number 3. "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahawashi Hamashiach. No
Right.
man that worth."
So literally, right, apostles, teachers, we are soldiers, man. Right. And the brother your call had looked up the definition of soldier. Let's bring that out. Let's bring out the definition of a soldier. What is a soldier, right? Right. We're a preacher, a teacher, right, of Yahweh Shai, right? Meaning what? We are soldiers of Yahweh Shai. And we're gonna get the definition of it.
Khan, this is the definition of soldier. It says a person who serves in the army, a fighter, a serviceman, a warrior, trooper, enlisted man.
Right. So a serviceman, right? So we are servicemen of Yahweh Shai, right? Then we got to understand that, right? Now there are qualities, right, and acts, right, of good soldiers, right? And you can look that up, right? So we broke it down in categories of the different qualities or acts of a man, right, that would be a good soldier, right, in any retrospect, right? So let's get it. First category that we got is loyalty or faithfulness, man. To be loyal or to be faithful, right? So let's kick it off with John, the 6th chapter and the 66th verse.
Khan, this is the book of John, chapter 6, and verse number 66. "From that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. Then said Yahushua unto the 12, Will ye also go away? Then Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life, and we believed and are sure that thou art that Christ, the Son of the living God. Yahawashi answered them, have not I chosen you 12, and one of you is a devil? He spake of Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon, for he it was that should betray him, being one of the 12.
Right. So the point is, right, when Yahawashi spoke in a parable to the rest of the disciples, he had many disciples, right? Disciple just means student, right? Many followers. When he spoke in a parable and said, you must eat my flesh and drink my blood, hey, many of them were offended and followed him no more. They weren't loyal. They weren't faithful, right? But then you had Peter and the 12, right? And Peter said, what? Hey, where will we go? Hey, you have the words of eternal life, right? Peter was literally loyal, right? And in that loyalty, you still found, right, a devil, right? He wasn't truly loyal, right? His sincerity wasn't truly there. He wasn't truly faithful. Judas had a lack of faith, right? And that's why Judas ultimately betrayed Yahawashi. That's why he wasn't a good soldier of Yahawashi, right? Let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 12 and verse 7.
God, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 12, and verse number 7. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold, wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses.
Right. So the Lord deemed Moses as a faithful servant, right? Hey, and Moses showed acts of faithfulness right from the very, very beginning, man. Right? What did Moses do? Right? Let's go back to the Exodus, right? The 3rd chapter, right? And start at verse, let's see, let's go to verse, I believe, 2. No, hold on, let me see. It's lucky. So the Exodus, the 3rd chapter, and start at verse 11. No, 2nd chapter and 11, Salaki.
God. Exodus chapter 2 and verse number 11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked unto their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together, and he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known.
Right. So Moses, right, was showing his faithfulness even when in the time when he was living as a Pharaoh's so-called grandson, man. Right? He seen one of the Egyptians smiting his people, and what did he do, man? And he slew the Egyptian, but it didn't stop there. He was still showing faithfulness to the spirit of Yahawashi by trying to correct his brethren when one was doing the other one wrong. This is showing the spirit that was in Moses, why the Lord deemed Moses to be faithful, man. Right? Let's go to Hebrews 11 and verse 23, further expounding on Moses, man.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, and verse number 23. It reads, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward.
Right. Showing his faithfulness. So he chose to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High God, right? Rather than the pleasures of sin in Egypt for a season, because he had faith in the recompense of reward, man. Showing his faithfulness, the spirit that he had, man. So Moses shows the actions of a faithful servant, of a faithful soldier, which is one of the main attributes you have to have in order to be a good soldier, man. You can't be a good soldier and you're not faithful or loyal. Esau, the so-called white man, is loyal and faithful to America. They call it what? Being a patriot, being a good patriot, man. Right? So that's why Esau will go out there and fight a war, having really no understanding of what he's fighting for. Right? Will tell you, I'm doing it. You know, they say, hey, I serve my country. Right? To do what? Is anybody striking war against America right now? Has anybody ever brought a war to the coast of America? No, right? That's why in the Bible is referred to as the virgin daughter of Babylon. Nobody has ever started war at America, man. But America goes wherever the hell it wants to go, right? And does whatever the hell it wants to do. And these faithful patriots, they just follow it blindly and say, hey, I'm protecting my country, right? Even though you're invading another country, you believe you're protecting the country because you're blindly faithful to what you believe in, man. So it's the same way. We have to have that faith towards Yahawashi in order for us to be a good servant, in order for us to be able to withstand the times that are coming in general, in order to withstand the times of temptation that we have to deal with in this flesh. You have to be a faithful servant unto Yahawashi in order to be a faithful soldier, man. Right? In order to be a good soldier. So that's a good attribute, right? And we still got a couple more precepts. Let's go to Numbers chapter 12 and Numbers 14 and verse 23.
God, this is the book of Numbers chapter 14 and verse number 23. And it reads, surely they shall not see the land which I swore unto their fathers, nor shall any of them that provoke me see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had another spirit with him, and hath followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whereinto he went, and his seed shall possess it.
Right. So Caleb will see the land. Why? Because he had another spirit. What was Caleb's spirit? He was faithful unto Yahawashi. He knew that if the Lord is going to bring me to this, right, then guess what? Hey, he going to bring us through it. That's the term that they say in the world, man, in Christianity. If the Lord bring you to it, he can bring you through it, right? But it's a real thing, right? Even though Christianity is bugged the hell out, that's actual real thing, right? Let's jump down to verse 30.
God, Numbers chapter 14 and verse 30. Doubtless ye shall not come into the land concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh and Joshua the son of Nun.
Right. Now, let's go back. Let's get the account of how Joshua and Caleb reacted, showing their faithfulness. Go to Numbers 14, and let's start at verse number 5.
God, Numbers chapter 14 and verse number 5. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes. And they spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land. If the Lord delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it us, a land which floweth with milk and honey.
Mm-hmm.
Only rebel not ye against the Lord, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Fear them not.
So Caleb and Joshua were extremely faithful to the Most High, right? They believed. There was nothing that was going to turn them from doing what the Lord commanded them to do because they had what? Faith. They were loyal and faithful soldiers, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 31 and verse 23.
31 and 23.
Go on.
God. Let's see. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 31 and verse number 23. It reads, O love the Lord, all ye his saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful and plentifully rewardeth the proud doer.
Right, read on.
Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord.
Right. So the Lord, it says the Lord what? He preserveth the faithful, man. Right. And it says to be of good courage. So the Lord is with those who are what? Faithful and of good courage, who believe, man. Right. So in order to be a good soldier, this is a must. You have to have this attribute. There's no way around it, man. Right? Go to Proverbs chapter 17, right, in verse number 17.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, and verse number 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
A brother is born for adversity, man. Right? A friend loveth at all time, and a brother is born for adversity. Right? Meaning what? In hard times, a brother is not departed. And he's there with you. Right? He's not fighting. He's not leaving. Right? He's gonna fight with you. Right? Are you a brother of Yahawashi? Right? Are you a friend of Yahawashi? Right? So adversity won't chase you away. Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 6.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 20, and verse number 6. It reads, most men will proclaim everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man, who can find it?
Right? It's a harder thing to find a faithful man. Right? It's not something you find every day. And we understand that what? 1/3 of Israel is going to be saved. Not all of Israel. 1/3. Everybody's not going to make it because everybody's not faithful. Right? This is an extremely important attribute, man. Right? Let's get the book of Psalms chapter 101 and verse 6.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 101, and verse number 6. It reads, mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me.
Right. The Lord said, my eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, man. Right? So he's watching for the faithful, those that have faith, those that believe, those that move in the spirit of, hey, Yahawashi, Yahawashi to the death. Right? Those that strive for the truth unto death. Right? And faith doesn't just start or stop with being, this person that's not scared to die for the words. Right? Faith starts with the simplicity of walking in your integrity continuously, man. Walking in the scriptures, right? Even when your flesh is taunting you and vaunting you to go off, right? You continue to walk in the way that the Most High God has set forth before you, man. That's faithfulness. That's loyalty, man. Loyalty to the understanding that the Lord has given you. Loyalty to your brethren that the Lord has given you, right? Loyalty to the love of his people, right? These are all attributes, right, of actual loyalty and faithfulness. It's not always just waving a damn hand and saying, hey, I'm gonna die for this truth, right? That's not, hey, if you can't abstain from sin, you ain't gonna be willing to die for the truth. In that day, you're gonna find yourself fearful, man. That's why in the book of Isaiah it says what? Fearfulness has surprised the hypocrite, right? Why? Because you was literally talking all that talk, right? But nonetheless, you ain't did nothing in order to show forth your faith for the Lord to give you that faith that you need, right, to stand tall in that day, man. And you're going to find yourself scared in that day. You got to overcome the small things before you're strong enough to fight the more challenging things, man. Right? So you got to rehearse these things. Let's go to the book of Acts chapter 2 and verse 42.
The book of Acts chapter 2 and verse number 42. And it reads, and they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread, and in prayers. And fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. And all that believed were together, and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men, as every man had need. And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily such as should be saved.
Right? Think about this. The apostles, right? Steadfastly. Being steadfast is the same thing as being loyal. That's the same attribute. They're synonyms, right? They were steadfast. They were loyal. They were faithful, right? Continued in the doctrine and fellowship, right? Breaking bread and in prayers, teaching, right? And showing love to their people, right? And from that, it says, fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. Through what? Steadfastness, loyalty, right? These are the things that stirred these miracles up, man. And from that, what happened, man? Many people were added to the church. Many souls were saved. So your loyalty, your steadfastness adds to the church, man. It brings fear upon people to see you stand so firmly for the Lord on the simple manners, man. Right? You damn standing up against eating pork. You may think it's a small thing. That's a big thing when you grew up eating pork your whole life, man. And your family starts seeing you kind of like, nah, I ain't fooling with that. Right? It may seem small, but it's big because it's just as hard it is for them to give it up. Shalom. Hey, you call you back. You on here? I can't hear you. Shalom, Salakia, Israel. Bear with us. Technical difficulties. Right? Can y'all hear me?
Hear me
All
now?
right. Con, Con. You brought any precepts out? Salakia.
Man, I was giving my whole spiel, man. Then I look at the comments, they say no sound. I'm over here like, mic check, y'all hear me? They said la ah. I was like, yeah, I went on for like about a minute straight, you know.
Con. Oh, it's all praise to the Most High. We back on here though now. So let's go ahead and bring it out. You know what I'm saying? Through the Spirit. All right. So Salakia, we back at it. We was in Acts. So let's read that again. Acts 2, right, in verse 42 again.
God. This is the book of Acts, chapter 2, and verse number 42. It's like, all right, this is the book of Acts, chapter 2, and verse 42. It reads, and they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread, and in prayers. And fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. And all that believed were together, and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men, as every man had need. And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to the church daily should such as should be saved.
Right. So there's steadfastness. Being steadfastness, right? And literally and being faithful and being loyal, they are one and the same. Right. So literally, we have to always understand that steadfastness, right, and being faithful is gonna do what? It can ultimately add to the church. The same way you've seen that through their steadfastness, literally, what? The apostles did many miracles, right? And through their miracles, it added fear, which added to the church, man, right? So we got to understand that this is a being faithful and being steadfast, being loyal, one and the same synonym. These are major attributes of a good soldier, right? So let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 2. First Corinthians 4 and 2.
So like this is the book of First Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 2. For I know nothing by myself, yet am I not hereby justified, but he that judgeth me is the Lord.
Like you in 1 Corinthians?
Oh, it's like Second Corinthians. It's like this is the book of Second Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 2. But have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty.
I don't think you in 1 Corinthians.
Now I read First Corinthians the first time. Let me see.
4 and 2? Or you was in
Yeah,
5?
that was in 4, right? Oh, Salaki. No, I was in 5. You're right. It says First Corinthians 4 and 2. It says, moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful.
See, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. So it's a requirement that a man be found faithful. You must be found faithful. You must continue in the acts of faith, man. Let's go to Matthew 24, right? And let's start at verse number 42.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse number 42. It reads, watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doeth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing.
So what? The faithful servant is always continuously doing, right? He's not kind of like, well, the Lord ain't coming just yet, man. So I'm gonna still do what I want to do. I'm gonna move how I want to move. I'm gonna act how I want to act. No, that faithful servant, right? And when the Lord comes, the Lord gonna find him doing continuously, always abounding, right? And the Lord says, blessed is that man. So that faithfulness, that steadfastness, that loyalty will keep you doing the works of the Most High. Will keep you acting diligently, man. Right? Even in the times when you feel weak, even in the times when you feel tired, even in the times when you feel oppressed, even in the times when you fight in your flesh, right? You continue to do, right? Due to what? Steadfastness, loyalty unto the Most High God. In the world, right? You have friends, and your friends, they wanted you to be loyal to them, no matter what the situation was, right? You got a homeboy, somebody don't like your homeboy, and your homeboy expect you not to like them, man, right? Because of what? Loyalty, man. And how much more so when you're dealing with Yahawashi? And you got to kind of examine that. You got people that literally don't believe in Yahawashi, whether they profess it by words or by deeds, and you still loyal to them. Are you loyal to Yahawashi? You got to ask yourself these things, man. Are you going to find yourself doing if you hanging around unbelievers? No, because you ain't doing. Hey, the Lord can literally crack the skies open, right? And you hanging with unbelievers. Y'all just chilling, kicked up. And people say that all the time. Well, ain't nothing wrong with it. You can still hang with. Yeah, I wish I sat with sinners. Why was he sitting with the sinners, man? To heal them, not to just kind of sit and break bread. I'm gonna kind of sit down. We're gonna break bread. We're gonna talk about the game. No, he was doing it to heal them. So if you sitting with sinners, right? If you sitting with unbelievers, it should be what? To reprove and to bring them into the fold. And if you can't do that, then what? You got to move around and go continue to be doing, man. Right? That's what a faithful and loyal and steadfast servant is going to do. Let's get Matthew 25 and 21.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and verse number 21. His Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord.
Right. So what? When you faithful over the few things the Lord has given you, right? Understanding of the precepts, right? Keeping the commandments, right? If you in a congregation, the sisterhood or the brotherhood that you involved in, right? These are the things that you got to be faithful to, the few things the Lord has given you, right? And when you're faithful over these few things, the Lord said, what? I will make you Lord over many things, man. If you can't steadfastly hold on to the light things Yahawashi is giving you right now, how are you going to endure through the things, right? How are you going to be able to receive the things that are broad, right? You ain't gonna be able to receive them, right? What did he tell the slothful one? Jump down to verse 26.
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 26. His Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and I gathered where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to put my money to the exchanges, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Now look at the separation, man. Why? Because the slothful one, he didn't have true faith. He didn't really believe, right? If he really believed, what he would have did was what? Given his money, and he would have got it in the the master would have had his money back with usury, man. Right? You would have multiplied your talents, is what he's saying, right? Kind of came into this thing. The Lord gave you understanding of commandments, let you know you Israel, right? You pray, you fast, you in the precepts, and you understand. Now you kind of teaching people, you bringing forth fruit, right? That's multiplying your talents. But when you don't have true faith, and you kind of relax, you're sitting around, your sister, you put on your hair wrap and your dress, and you go out, you say shalom, and that's it. Your brother, you kind of throw on your fringes, right? You show up to camp, but you have not the spirit. You're not studying. You're not casting off spirits. You're not damn walking in faith. You're not doing the things that somebody who actually believes is going to do. When you truly believe, your works follow behind it, right? I always liken it to sports. Every person that plays a sport that says, I'm going to make it to the NFL, hey, they literally are what? Hey, they running the horses. They waking up early. They training early. They're doing all the things to show, hey, I believe I'm going to make it. It's the same way. If you believe in what Yahawashi, are you doing the things that show you truly believe? Are you repenting daily? Right? Are you damn praying daily? Are you casting off the old man, killing? And the Lord said, hey, I die daily, man. Are you dying daily, man? Right? These are the things that show that you truly believe. Right? And these are the fruits of those things, which multiply with faith. Right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 2 and verse 13.
Book of Revelation, chapter 2, and verse number 13. I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is. And thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you where Satan dwelleth.
Now understand this is, I know thy works and where thou dwellest, where Satan's seat is. Where's Satan's seat? Here, on the earth, right? That's where we dwell, right? So you got to be faithful in this place, right? You got to have faith here, where Satan's seat is. Why everything is upside down, right? Why you continuously damn fighting your flesh. Everything is damn darkness here, man. And like I said earlier, in order for you to be somebody like Antipas, right, who was a faithful martyr, I mean, he was killed for the truth. Hey, you gotta literally build up your faith on the small things from now, man. Holding your faith on the small things from now. You can't reprove your damn cousin, right? And you think you're gonna stand up in the day when death is in your face. You know, that ain't gonna work. That's a small test the Lord has put before your face. You a sister, you kind of dating a brother, you kind of like him, you see he off, but you kind of like him, you don't want to reprove him. No, sister, hey, if you don't want to reprove him, don't deal with him. Same with a brother. Hey, you kind of, you courting a sister, you got a wife, you kind of came into the truth, you learning about the truth, you know what's right and what's wrong, but it's your wife. I don't want to rock the boat, happy wife, happy life. I don't think I want to say nothing. No, brother. You're not going to make it. These are the little things that build your faith up to be like Antipas, the faithful martyr, man. Standing up for the Lord, faithfully, steadfastly, loyally, right, in these small situations. And this is a major attribute to be a good soldier, right? So that's one attribute. That's one attribute. We got faithfulness, loyalty, right? However you want to, steadfastness, however you want to, label it, man. What's another attribute? Right? Let's deal with integrity, right? In order to be a faithful servant, a faithful soldier, Yahawashi, you got to have good integrity, man, right? Let's get Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 13 and 14, right? What is integrity, right? Let's get the definition real quick if you can, brother Yakar, of integrity, right?
Okay. Let's see. All right. The definition for integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness, right?
Right,
Some of the synonyms is honesty, uprightness, honor.
right. Moral principles, right? Honesty, integrity. These are the things that you show when nobody's around. And it's real easy to be, an Israelite and keeping the commandments when everybody's around you. It's real easy to have your fringes on, to say shalom, Yahawashi Barakatah, you know what I'm saying, when everybody's around you, right? But what are you doing when nobody's there, right? What are you doing when nobody's watching? What are you doing when you're not at camp? What are you doing when you're not with the sisterhood, right? What are you doing when you're not around the brethren? And hey, don't get me wrong, we all fall short to sin. But integrity, when you have true integrity, when you fall short, hey, it kind of crushes your spirit when you fall off, man. Right? Hey, you kind of loathe yourself over falling off. right? So let's get the book of James. I mean, book of Hebrews. Shalakia. Hebrews 4:13 and 14.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 4, and verse number 13. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do. Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Yahawashi, the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession.
Right. So it says, neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight. Meaning the Lord sees everything. This is supposed to make you stay in your integrity, knowing that the Lord still sees everything you're doing, whether it's men around you or not. The Lord still sees it. Nothing is not manifest in his sight, right? It says what? But all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him whom we have to do. Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Yahawashi, the Son of the Most High, let us hold fast our profession. What is our profession? To be servants of the Lord, right? What is our profession? To be ministers of good works, man. So you got to hold fast to these things, understanding that, hey, the Lord sees everything you're doing, whether, hey, your brother sees it, your sister sees it, or the people that's on the YouTube channel see it, man. Right? Let's go to Sirach 23 and verse 19. That's integrity. That's why I want to open with that precept. Understanding this and keeping in fear the fact that the Lord always sees everything you're doing. That should make you hold fast your integrity, man. Right? Sirach 23 and 19.
The book of Sirach, chapter 23, and verse 19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts.
Right. So if you only fear the eyes of men, hey, you a fool. The Lord sees more than what men see. Right? The damn sneaky link spirit, man. Hey, Lord, not dealing with the Lord sees it, man. The Lord sees it. I watch every now and then. I watch, the Bishop Nathaniel, man. He tell these stories, man. Damn Jake, laying with other men's wives. That's off. You think because nobody knows it, nobody knows it that the Lord don't see it. The Lord sees it, and He gonna bring judgment on that thing, man. And you gotta understand that. You gotta know that, right? Let's get let's see, real quick. Let's get Luke 16 and 15 real quick, right? The Lord sees these things. So a good soldier, right? And I understand that, yeah, men are chiefly soldiers, but sisters, these attributes are for you as well, man. Right? A good soldier has what? Loyalty, faithfulness, or steadfastness, right? And now we going into a good soldier having great integrity. That's a must quality of being a good soldier, man. Having integrity, right? Bring it out, King.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 16, and verse number 15. And he said unto them, Yea, are they which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts, for that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of God.
Right. Justifying yourself before men, trying to only look right before men. I want to seem mighty before all the brothers. I want to seem mighty, when I'm at camp, right? But then your heart is wicked. The only reason why you want to seem mighty, why you want to bring out precepts, is because you're looking for some type of fame or glory, vain glory. But the Lord knows your hearts. Understand that, right? Hey, search yourself out. Think about that, man. If you holding in some envy, right, towards a brother or a sister, right, some type of jealousy, then there's some type of lack of sincerity inside of you, man. And you care more about how you seem before people. And the Lord knows that, and you got to search that out and cast that off from you. You can't be a good soldier, Yahawashi, and you damn have an envious spirit, man. Right? A lack of sincerity, right? Your integrity holds fast against things like that. When you have integrity, right, and you feel that type of spirit hopping on you towards somebody, or you feel like you care more about what people think about you than what the Most High thinks about you. Hey, when you got true integrity, hey, you kind of catch that and you feel it. You're like, damn, I'm going off. And we all in this flesh, we all are gonna succumb to things that we ought not to. We all are gonna succumb to things that we don't want to succumb to at times, right? But the difference between the righteous and the wicked is the righteous, and they feel wrong for doing these things, and they correct it. They strive to be better. That's why the Lord says, what? A just man falleth 7 times and get back up, but the wicked will fall into mischief. There's a separation. Not that the just man not going to fall. It's just that when he falls, he's like, shit, I fell. I got to get back up. I got to do better. I got to be better. Why do I keep doing this? That's how a just man feels. He damn beating on his chest. Why I keep doing this? That's what Paul was screaming in Romans, the 7th chapter, man. So, oh, wretched man that I am. Right? That's what integrity makes you feel that way when you go off in the dark. Not I'm going off in the dark. Nobody sees it. I'm going to just keep doing it. Hey, damn, I kind of got away with that. No. Hey, integrity will have you scared to death, man. Damn, driving the car and scared the Lord going to send another car to T-bone you for going off, man. That's the spirit of somebody that has a form of integrity. They scared of what the Lord can do to them for going off in the dark, man. Let's go to Sirach 18 and 27.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 18, and verse number 27. It reads, a wise man will fear in everything, and in the day of sinning, he will beware of offense, but a fool will not observe time.
Look at the difference. A wise man will fear in everything, right? In the day of sinning, he will beware of an offense. I mean, hold on, I'm about to go off. I'm tripping, right? But a fool, he don't observe that thing. He just, it is what it is. No, that's not the spirit. That's not a man of good integrity. It's not a man that has integrity, man. Which means, hey, you're not going to be a good soldier, man, for Yahawashi. Right? Let's get 1 Kings chapter 9, and let's start at verse 3.
Got
2.
9 and 2.
Huh.
It's the book of 1 Kings, chapter 9, and verse number 2. That the Lord appeared to Solomon the second time, as he appeared unto him at Gibeon. And the Lord said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication, that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house which thou hast built, to put my name there forever, and mine eyes and mine heart shall be there perpetually. And if thou wilt walk before me, as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgments, then will I establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever, as I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel.
Right. And it says, if thou walk in thy sincerity of heart as David thy father, right? David thy father. Did David not go off? David went off. But he had integrity. Let's go to 1 Samuel 24 and start at verse 4. David had integrity. Right? When David went off, David, hey, he was wroth with himself, man.
1 Samuel chapter 24 and verse number 4. And the men of David said unto him, behold, the day of which the Lord said unto thee, behold, I will deliver thine enemy into thine hand, that thou mayest do to him as it shall seem good unto thee. Then David arose and cut off the skirt of Saul's robe privately. And it came to pass afterward that David's heart smote him because he had cut Saul's skirt. And he said unto his men,
David's heart smote him. Right? That's the act that we speaking on when you fall short and you have an integrity of heart. Right? You gonna feel like, damn, oh shit, what did I just do? Damn, I can't do that. I'm going off. And what David say? Go ahead.
God, and said, and he said unto his men, the Lord forbid that I should do this thing unto my master, the Lord's anointed, to stretch forth mine hand against him, seeing he is the anointed of the Lord.
Right. So David understood, hey, that's off. I can't do it. So although, David may have went off, and he went off, we go get the account. Even though David went off, right, his spirit was still right with the Lord. So your integrity is about the spirit that you have towards the Most High, even in the time when you do go off, right? Not just not going off. What is your spirit like in the times when you do fall short? How do you feel when you do fall short? Because we in this flesh, we know we're gonna fall short. We know we're not gonna be perfect in the manner of never messing up, right? Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 12, right, and start at verse number 11.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 12, and verse number 11. It reads, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this sun. Verse 12. For behold, thou didst it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before the sun. Verse 13. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Lord. And Nathan said unto David, The Lord also hath put away thy sin, thou shalt not die.
Right.
How?
So David immediately, hey, as soon as he got reproved, he didn't take a whole lot. He didn't have to get cursed out. It didn't have to be, you pleading with him, Nathan, like, no, brother, you went off. Then David like, I wasn't that wrong. I'm still the king. No, brother, this is why you went off. No, David said, I sinned. Hey, I went off. Salakia, right? Immediately, right? Let's go to First Chronicles 21 and let's start at 1 real quick.
God. This is the book of First Chronicles, chapter 21, and verse number 1. All right. And it reads, First Chronicles 21 and 1, And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel. And David said unto Joab and to the rulers of the people, Go, number Israel from Beersheba even to Dan, and
Right.
bring the number.
So the point is, Satan tempted David the same way Satan tempts us every day, right? He provoked David the same way every day that we deal with things, right? Satan provoked David. Satan provokes us daily, right? And this is an account of showing where David fell short to being provoked by Satan. But let's see how David handled it. Jump to verse 11.
Verse number 11. And it reads, So Gad came to David and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Choose thee either 3 years famine or 3 months to be destroyed before thy foes, while that the sword of thine enemies overtaketh thee, or else 3 days the sword of the Lord, even the pestilence and the land, and the angel of the Lord destroying throughout all the coast of Israel. Now therefore advise thyself what word I shall bring again to him that sent me. And David said unto Gad, I am in the
So Israel was smitten with pestilence because of David's bad decision, being provoked by Satan to number Israel, going off, right? But let's see how David handles it, right? It said, remember, we're going through this because in the prayer, the Lord responded to Saul and says that if you keep thine integrity as David thy father. So we're showing that even though the Lord is saying have integrity like David, we're showing that David fell short. So we're showing that this is still integrity the way you react after you fall short, right? So let's jump to verse 19.
verse number 19. First Chronicles 21:19. And David went up at the saying of
Salak
Gad.
17, King Salak 17.
God, First Chronicles 21:17. And David said unto God, Is it not that I commanded the people to be numbered? Even I, it is even I it is that have sinned and done evil indeed. But as for these sheep, what have they done? Let thine hand, I pray thee, O Lord my God, be on me and on my father's house, but not on thy people, that they should be plagued.
So David is taking full accountability and say, hey, don't do anything to them. Hurt me. I made the mistake. They didn't do it. Right? So he fell short. Now he's taking full accountability. But we're gonna show that David really, really accepts accountability and is really beat up about what he did. Jump to verse 22.
Verse number 22. Then David said to Ornan, grant me the place of this threshing floor, that I may build an altar therein unto the Lord, that thou shalt grant it me for the full price, that the plague may be stayed from the people.
We
Verse
don't.
23. And Ornan said unto David, take it to thee, and let my lord the king do that which is good in his eyes. Lo, I give thee the oxen also for burnt offerings, and the threshing floor, and the instruments for the wood, and the wheat for the meat offering. I give it all. And King David said to Ornan, nay, but I will verily buy it for the full price, for I will not take that which is thine for the Lord, nor offer burnt offerings without cost.
Right. He's saying I gotta pay for this. I gotta. Hey, I messed up. I can't just take an offering for free and burn it to the Most High. I have to feel something for what I've done. So I have to take some type of loss, meaning pay for this full price, and then I can burn an offering unto the Most High. It got to be worthy, right? That's showing you David's having that right spirit. A lot of people say, "Oh, we're gonna give it to me." Hey, bet I ain't got to feel that. The Lord is looking for you to feel it, to be contrite, and then fear in your contrition. Jump to verse 30, so that David still feared. Like I said, brother kind of go off, and a brother still be scared. Hey, you repent and you still scared the Lord gonna kill you. That's what keeps you in your integrity. Jump to verse 30.
First Chronicles chapter 21 and verse number 30. But David could not go before it to inquire of God, for he was afraid because of the sword of the angel of the Lord.
They was scared. David was shook. He went off and he was shook. So it's my point. You're gonna go off, and person that has integrity, they'll go off, but they're gonna be shook after going off, man. Right? Let's go to Job, the classic Job 2 and 3. Right? So it's like we went up through that whole spiel because the response, like I said, that Yahweh gave Solomon was what? To keep thine integrity as thy father David. Showing that David fell, but showing how he still had integrity in his falling, right? Let's get that, Job 2 and 3.
The book of Job chapter 2 and verse number 3. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him, to destroy him without cause.
Right. So Job, although hey, the Lord took everything from Job, took his children, right? Damn, took all his possessions, right? Job was still holding fast his integrity, right? Jump to verse 9.
Verse number 9. It reads, then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What, shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips.
Right. So think about this. This is the time when a lot of people lose their integrity, right? Whenever they're going through a hard time, whenever things ain't going their way, whenever they dealing with a lot of stress, they lose their integrity, right? Now they kind of want to go off. Man, help, man, Lord ain't dealing with me no way. That's why I'm going what I'm going through, right? But Job is an example of even when things are going like shit, you going through hell, you still got to hold fast your integrity. Go to Job, I think it's 27 and 5.
The book of Job, chapter 27, and verse number 5. God forbid that I should justify you. Till I die, I will not remove mine integrity from me.
Right. Till I die, I will not remove my integrity from you. I'm going to maintain my integrity till my death. That's the spirit we got to have. Right. Job 31 and 6.
The book of Job, chapter 31, and verse number 6. It reads, let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know mine integrity.
Let me be weighed in a balance that the Most High may know mine integrity. Right. So we got to understand the importance behind that, man. Right. And what happened with Job at the end? Job 42 and 10.
The book of Job, chapter 42, and verse number 6. It reads, wherefore I abhor myself and repent in dust and ashes.
Job 42 and 10.
It's like it. Verse 10. And the Lord turned it. turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also, the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before.
So Job got in this life. We're not even dealing with. We know Job is of the elect. We know Job is going to be in the kingdom. Hey, I'm led to believe Job is. I know. I almost know Job is over the 144,000, man. Right. So Job in this life, due to retaining his integrity, got double what he had. He gonna get 7 times that, right, in the kingdom of heaven, right, for maintaining his integrity. Let's get another account of somebody maintaining their integrity. Let's go to Genesis chapter 39 and let's start at verse 7.
The book of Genesis, chapter 39, and verse number 7. And it reads, "And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he has to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?"
See that? He could have been like, well, nobody's gonna see, I'm gonna go and get in there. No, he maintained his integrity when nobody was around. She tried to get in there. He said, I'm not gonna sin against my God, right? Showing forth his integrity, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 11 and verse 3.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 11, and verse number 3. It reads, "The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them."
See that? The integrity of the upright. So your integrity will guide you when you upright, man. It's going to keep you in fear. It's going to keep you walking in righteousness. It's going to keep you from going against the Most High God. It's going to keep you literally doing the things that you know the Lord approves of and away from the things that you know the Lord disapproves of, man. Right? It's going to keep you in order when you want to get out of order, man. That woman that has a husband, that time when you feel like you want to get out of order and do what you want to do, integrity is going to keep you from doing it. Knowing the Lord is watching you and recording your actions, man. Right? That husband that want to do something that he has no business doing, right? Hey, the integrity is going to keep you from doing that, knowing that the Most High God literally is watching and recording what you're doing. And let's say that woman does fall short and get out of order. That integrity will have her remorseful towards her husband after doing such a thing, man. Not prideful, not wanting to accept accountability, but fully accountable and showing repentance towards the matter, man. And that husband the same thing, man. That's what integrity does, man. Right? Let's go to Proverbs 19 and 1.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 19, and verse number 1. "Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool."
All right, better is the poor that walketh in integrity than he that is perverse with his lips and is a fool, man. So the best, even if you poor, if you continue in maintaining your integrity, it's better for you to be that, right, than to be perverse, right, and outside of integrity. Let's go to Tobit 4 and 21, right? Tobit 4 and 21 on that.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4, and verse number 21. "And fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou hast much wealth, if thou fear God, and depart from all sin, and do that which is pleasing in his sight."
See, that's playing upon table line and right up what you hear in the book of Proverbs 19 and 1. Huh? So that's where it's at, right? Walking and doing what's pleasing in the sight of the Most High, not the sight of men, as you read in Luke, the 16th chapter. It's not about that. To hell with the sight of men, right? To hell with fearing the eyes of men. It's what you do in the sight of Yahweh, why Yahawashi, right? So we got, that's 2 categories, right? Like I said, it's going to be a 2-part video. We're not going to finish it today. I know Israel got a short attention span. We're going to do one more category and then close out, right? So there are 2 categories of acts of a good soldier Yahawashi, right? The first part was what? Loyalty, faithfulness, or steadfastness, whichever one you want to, label it as. They're all the same. Then we just did integrity, right? Now we're going to move into what? Selflessness, man. Being selfless. You can't be damn selfish and be a good soldier, man. Right? Hey, soldiers in the army, they gotta really literally know that they gotta die for one another, man. That's why, like soldiers in the army, right? You can have a blood brother, but then when they go serve in the corps together, that brother in the corps becomes his brother more than his blood brother, man. Why is it that Israel don't have that type of spirit, man? You know, we kind of get together, brothers be in the same camp, serving together, supposed to be soldiers together, but for some reason, they family that's damn not in the truth still means more to them than the brothers and sisters they have that's supposed to be in the truth that they serve with, man. Right? That's not the acts of a good soldier, right? Let's pop it off, right, with Matthew 12 and 48. Just going into that, man. Right? Matthew 12 and 48. You gotta understand, man. You should be serving your people in Yahawashi, right, more than anybody else. That's your family, man. And you got to be selfless towards them continuously, right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse number 48. But he answered and said unto him and told him, Who is my mother, and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples, and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
That's your family, man. And you got to be, it didn't say, your blood, it didn't say, your kinfolk them. It didn't say, Medea them. It didn't say damn cousin Day Day. It didn't say none of those, man. It says those that do the will of your Father in heaven. These are the people that's going to be able to pray for you. These are the people that's going to be willing to die for you, man. Right? And you got to be selfless towards one another. Let's go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 4 and 5, man. Right? Philippians 2, verse 4 and 5.
Philippians chapter 2 and verse number 4. It reads, Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Hamashiach Yahawashi.
Right. Let this mind be in you, which is also in the mind of your Hamashiach Yahawashi. Think about that, man. Right? Yahawashi, right? If he was only thinking about his own things, and he was perfect, he would have never got on that cross, man. Right? But he was thinking about the things of others. So look not upon your own things, but upon the things of others. Be selfless, man. Right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 10, and let's start at verse, I believe 6 is where I want to start.
2nd Ezra chapter 10 and verse number 6. And it reads, 2nd Ezra 10 and 6. Thou foolish woman above all other, seest thou not our mourning and what happeneth unto us? How that Zion our mother is full of all heaviness and much humble, mourning very sore. And now, seeing we all mourn and are sad, for we are all in heaviness, art thou grieved for one son? For as the earth, and she shall tell thee that it is she which ought to mourn for the fall of so many that grow upon her. For out of her came all at the first, and out of her shall all others come, and behold, they walk almost all into destruction, and a multitude of them is utterly rooted out. Verse 11. Who then should make more mourning than she, that hath lost so great a multitude? And, and not thou, which art sorry, but for one.
Right. This is a vision ultimately, right? But nonetheless, it's giving you understanding of how he should operate. In this vision, this woman is grieved because she lost one son, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? But he's saying you can't only be grieved for that, right? Our whole nation is in heaviness. Our whole nation is in captivity, man. Our whole nation is brought low, man. Right? We gotta grieve for our whole nation, not just ourselves and our own what we see. And that's the problem with Israel. Israel, right, as a whole, not just the ones that repent and know they're Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right, in Israel across the four corners of the earth, they're only concerned with things that happen directly to them. If it don't happen directly to them, it doesn't concern them, man. Right? They're not really worried about it, right? But when it happens directly to them, they want everybody to mourn for them in that, man. Right? But that's not the right spirit. That's not the spirit of a soldier of Yahawashi. You got to be selfless in every attribute towards your people, man. Right? So let's jump to verse 39. Let's see if Tobit's judgment was right for telling her she foolish for only caring about being grieved for her own son and our nation, man.
Right? Second Ezra chapter 10 and verse 39. And it reads, He has seen that thy way is right, for that thou sorrowest continually for thy people, and makest great lamentation for Zion.
That's plain. So the angel Uriel said, the Lord have seen that what? Your judgment is right. Because your sorrow is for all your people. That's the right judgment. So your spirit got to be towards all your people continuously, man. Especially those that what are repentant. I'm gonna stand on that because that's how people try to use that and say, well, so you saying that I got to be more worried about the children that serve Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? But you just read a precept that said all your people. Okay, let's find out if that's the case. Let's go to Sirach 12. Right, Sirach 12. Start at 1.
Sirach chapter 12 and verse 1. When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it, so shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense. And if not from him, yet from the Most High. There can no good come to him. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms. Give to the godly man, and help not a sinner.
There it is, man. So you can't try to take that precept and say, hey, so the brother said, I need no. Of course, we worry about our people, in the totality, and we cry and we mourn for our people in the totality. But the Lord says to know to whom thou doest good to, right? You shouldn't be damn helping out Big Mama, and she can't stop eating pork. And you got a brother and sister in the truth who need your help, and you weren't able to help them because you didn't gave it all to Big Mama who can't stop eating pork. You damn helping your mama who eats shrimp every damn day, help pay bills, and you got people in your congregation who damn lights are getting turned off with their house and their children in the house, man. That's off. That's off. You got to examine those things, man. Right? So let's go to Esther chapter 7, and let's start at verse 4.
God. This is the book of Esther, chapter 7, and verse number 4. God. Esther, Salakia. All right. This is the book of Esther, chapter 7, and verse number 4. And it reads, For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Verse
Right.
5.
So he said, for we are sold, I and my people. Esther was a queen. Esther could have said, hey, shit, I'm in the king's palace, man. Hey, it is what it is. But she had understanding about her people. She said, we are sold. I and my people are sold to the king. Right? Esther 10 and 3. Salakia. You're on mute.
Oh, kind. I was saying it had froze for a second on my side.
You said what?
It had froze for a second on my end. This is the book of Esther, chapter 10, and verse 3. For Mordecai the Jew was next unto King
Your brother
Ahasuerus.
froze.
Can you hear me?
All right, you back. Read it. Esther 10 and 3. You was frozen.
Kind. This is the book of Esther, chapter 10, and verse 3. For Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren. seeking the wealth of his people and speaking peace to all his seed.
Right, seeking the wealth of people. So Mordecai, right, sought the wealth of his people, not just himself, the welfare of his people, man. Right? Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 2.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 2, and verse number 2. It reads, Wherefore the king said unto me, Why is thou countenance sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid. Verse 3. And said unto the king, Let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? Verse number 4. Then the king said unto me, For what doest thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven. And I said unto the king, If it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it.
Right. So what is he doing? People say, well, he just want to go build up the place. Okay, jump to verse 10.
Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse number 10. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the servant the Ammonite heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel.
Right. So he's seeking the welfare of his people by rebuilding the wall and the temple, right, to serve the Most High God. Because in serving the Most High God, getting Israel to go back to return to serving the Most High God the right way, right, is literally how you get Israel to be what? Back on top, right? So he was seeking the welfare of his people, man. So we got to understand that selfishness is a very a very key contributor, right, of a quality of a good soldier, man. Let's get a couple more. Let's go to 2 Samuel 9 and verse 2.
God, the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 9, and verse number 2. It reads, And there was of the house of Saul a servant whose name was Ziba. And when they had called unto and Slack, and they when they had called him unto David, the king said unto him, Art thou Ziba? And he said, Thy servant is he. Verse 3. And the king said, Is there not yet any of the house of Saul, that I may show the kindness of God unto him? And Ziba said unto the king, Jonathan hath yet a son, which is lame on his feet. And the king said unto him, Where is he? And Ziba said unto the king, Behold, he is in the house of Machir, the son of Amiel, in Lodabar. And the king David sent and fetched him out of the house of Machir, the son of Amiel, from Lodabar. And when Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, was come unto David, he fell on his face and did reverence. And David said, Mephibosheth, and he answered, Behold, thy servant. And David said unto him, Fear not, for I will surely show thee kindness for Jonathan, thy father's sake, and will restore thee all the land of Saul, thy father, and thou shalt eat bread at my table continually.
Right. So, hey, did David only care, was he only caring about himself? Right? No, David said, hey, look, man, hey, you only go, I'm gonna restore everything unto you, right? For your father's sake. And you gonna eat bread at my table continually. Showing you, hey, David wasn't only thinking about himself, man. David was thinking about thinking about his people, man. Right? He was being selfless, right? Which is an act, and we know wasn't no better soldier than David. We know that, right? Let's go to let's see. I want another. Let's go to real quick. Bear with me. Let's go to the bear with me. I want to get the right verse. Con, let's go to 1 Samuel 30 and let's read verse 21.
God. The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 30, and verse number 21. And it reads, so yeah, kind of. It reads, and David came to the 200 men, which were so faint that they could not follow David, whom they had made also to abide at the brook Besor. And they went forth to meet David and to meet the people that were with him. And when David came near to the people, he saluted them. Then answered all the wicked men of Belial, of those that went with David, and said, because they went not with us, we will not give them aught of the spoil that we have recovered, save to every man his wife and his children, that they may lead them away and depart. Verse 23. Then said David, ye shall not do so, my brethren, with that which the Lord has given us, who hath preserved us and delivered the company that came against us into our hand. For who will hearken unto you in this matter? But as his part is that goeth down to the battle, so shall his part be that tarrieth by the stuff. They shall part alike. Verse 25. And it was so from that day forward that he made it a statute and an ordinance for Israel unto this day.
So David declared a statute and an ordinance, right? Just because a man, hey, he too faint or he can't make it, you know what I'm saying, to go to war when we go do something, right? Hey, it said what? That those that go to war, right, and those that had to stay back for whatever the reason may be, hey, they received the same part, man. Why? Because he cared about all his people. It wasn't about, hey, I'm only gonna care about a few of my people. Hey, they went to war, they gonna get them, they gonna get everything. He said, hell no, not so. Who's gonna listen to you? We care about all our people. So we're gonna divide the parts up equally amongst everybody. That's showing you what Paul said about the different parts of the body. Hey, somebody had to stay back with the women, right? Somebody had to stay back and watch the things that are there, the things that wasn't taken, right? And that's something that we got to examine to ourselves when we take on that spirit of, man, why can't I be as mighty as that brother? Brother, you got a integral part to play in this truth, man. And you're gonna receive of the same penny, man, for your service. Right? So David showing that selflessness once again. David could say, I'm the king, I'm taking all this. Shit, what you mean? Y'all was talking about stoning me just a few days ago, man. But no, David thought about upon all his people, man, and was selfless. Let's get one more. Let's go to Tobit 2 and 2.
God, this is the book of Tobit, chapter 2, and verse number 2. Here we go. And it reads, and when I saw abundance of meat, I said to my son, go and bring what poor man soever thou shalt find out of our brethren, who is mindful of the Lord, and lo, I tarry for thee. Verse 3. But he came again and said, Father, one of our nation is strangled, and is cast out in the marketplace. Then, before I had tasted of any meat, I started up and took him up into a room until the going down of the sun. Then I returned and washed myself and ate my meat in heaviness. Verse 6. Remembering that prophecy of Amos, as he said, your feast shall be turned into mourning and your mirth into lamentation. Therefore I wept, and after the going down of the sun, I went and made a grave and buried him.
Right. So Tobit is showing for us a litany of what selflessness. Right. First, hey, go find one of our poor people that is right, so proving what we said, that is known to do righteousness before the Lord, so we can, hey, he can feast with us. Right. Then, hey, his brother said, I mean, his son said, hey, one of our people is hanged. He took him down and he buried him, man. Right. He buried him, which is the righteousness of the Most High God. That's what the Lord says to do. Right. Showing you that he doesn't only care about himself, and he's mourning for his people in that situation, man. Right? Continuously showing you, hey, Tobit had the right mindset. Right? Tobit continued to do the selfless acts that the Most High God says that we're supposed to be committing, man. Right? So with that, Lord willing, somebody was edified or will be edified in the coming days. That is part one of acts of a good soldier of Yahawashi, right? We went through attributes of loyalty, faithfulness, or steadfastness, right? We went through integrity, right? And then we just did selfishness, man. So Lord willing, we will do part 2 tomorrow, right around the same time. Love you, Israel. Shalom.
Shalom.